How are you doing? Welcome to the live. Quick recap on, I'm going to do a quick recap on Whole Foods diet, or my version of it, which is on my website, and also I've got a lot of cooking videos because I did a quick, like, short reel. It's only a couple of minutes yesterday of an alternate to the new breakfast video I did. So I did the new breakfast video, which is, I was basically showing you the 3 alternates. It's basically just like some kind of meat and eggs with a twist. And I know I've got the keto eggs with salmon recipe, which I think is one of the best breakfasts you can eat. But this one's, I do soft boiled eggs, chop them, put in a bit of cottage cheese. You don't need, if you haven't got any cottage cheese, you can use something like mozzarella or something like that. Works quite well, but put the mozzarella on top. So you've got your eggs, you chop them up, bit of salt, pepper, garlic, and then I put in usually spring onions, just snip them with a spoon. And then there's like 3 choices of meats. One's with salmon, just snipping in salmon. One's with, and you can do salmon either way. You can either get like, you know, like smoked salmon in a packet and just snip it in, or you can cook it like a piece of salmon and then just flake it in, you know. And then, yeah, you can just top it off with like a bit of mozzarella or something. It's flipping brilliant. So you've got the salmon one, you've got a chicken one, and then my favorite, which is steak. Just do like a rump steak or something. I make the steak taste absolutely amazing. I've got a really quick way of doing it. And it is literally just garlic, salt and pepper in butter, and you can get it to taste just right. I have mine rare. But yesterday when I did that short reel, I did it with, instead of rump steak, because organic rump steak's bloody expensive. I try to eat it and I try to prioritise that, because I don't smoke, I don't really drink, and I think if I can spend my money on good food, I will. But it's really expensive, so I swapped it yesterday for chunks of diced beef, and I got it fairly lean, lean diced beef. And the cost of it was literally half the price of the steak, the rump steak. Probably because you don't know where, this diced beef, it's like general diced beef. It could be coming anywhere on the animal, including all the offcuts, but it wasn't fatty, you know what I mean? It's lean. And it worked really well. The only difference was it was slightly tougher, but the flavour was exactly the same. So that video went quite well. You can go and have a look, but I do advise you to go and watch the new full breakfast video. I think I linked it. I might have even put it on this one. I don't know. But if you hop on over to my website, andyholt.co.uk, I have if you just go to the homepage, go to the menu, and then, or on the top, if you're looking on a full screen, there's resources, and then under resources there's reading list, and the second one is diet plans and recipes. Or they might be the other way around, but anyway, look for the diet plan and recipes and just follow that. And there's 4 principles. I've written them down in my notebook. Well, I kind of know them, but my 4 principles that it's all based on, right? You'll look at all the cooking videos I do. They're literally just like some kind of protein, right? Whether that's beef, chicken, fish, something like that, right? With a few veggies or a bit of salad, right? So here's the principles I stick to. Whole foods wherever possible. I've not prepared, so I've got a load of books in there about this. One of the good books to read about whole foods or not, or processed foods, is Chris Van Tolken's book. It's called Ultra Processed People, and he's online. You can listen to him, and he sort of says, he estimates that the average Western diet can be as bad as 80% processed foods, right? For some people that are just consuming constant, maybe takeaways or ready meals or whatever, 80% processed foods it can be up to, which is shocking. So my rule on whole foods is you want to be 80-20 the other way. You want to be 80% whole foods. I don't think it's possible to always eat whole foods. Well, it is possible, of course it is. Whether it's practical, you know what I mean? It's like, so one of the obvious ones in not whole foods, in processed foods, is shop bought bread, right? Just, like, I'm not, the brands, the big brands, shop bought bread. You're going to end up having a bit of shop bought bread, but you generally want to avoid it, right? The best, no bread is good for you, really, right? Because basically rule number 4, I've got 4 rules, so right, and rule number 4, when I come onto it, you'll understand why. But if you have a bit of shop bought bread, just keep it down to the minimal. Or if you have a bit of ice cream or whatever, you know what I mean? You've got to keep this stuff under control. So you want to be cooking with 80% whole foods at least, maybe even higher. Like every meal I make from scratch, right? But there's always a bit of something, maybe a bit of mayonnaise or something that goes in there, right? So you want to be eating whole foods. That is things that you can just look at, like a piece of meat, whatever it is, actual meat in its raw form, vegetables in the raw form, things like that, or a bit of salad in its raw form, onions, peppers, all that kind of thing. I think you're good. Mushrooms, good veggies like cruciferous veggies, like broccoli and cauliflower, things like this, asparagus, all them kind of things, right, which you can mix in. So my principles, the first one is whole foods, the second one is high protein. I've got a little calculator on my website where you can calculate, you basically calculate your calorie needs, like your maintenance calories, and from there you can then decide how much protein you need. But it's basically 1 gram per pound of, people say, lean body mass, right? And the way to do it, just weigh yourself, look at yourself, are you 15-20% body fat? Not that often, that's what you should be going with. I always go slightly higher. I like to go high with protein to make sure. So I eat 200 grams of protein a day, easy, sometimes more. The problem with eating too much protein is it does actually turn into glycogen, like sugar, basically, through glyconeogenesis, which is the process that your body does. So it converts it to sugar. So if you're on a strict keto diet, you really got to dial your protein in. It's more about the fat content. But anyway, high protein, number 2. Number 3, low overall calories. I think one of the best things you can do is just track your, understand how many calories you're consuming. I don't track calories anymore, just because I cook the same damn meals. I know exactly what's in them. I've been doing it. And what I do, when you're first starting out, you have to track calories, but just to get a feel for knowledge for really how much you're eating. You know what I mean? If you've got a lot of weight to lose, just start tracking. You really get a handle on how much you're actually consuming. But I don't do it anymore. All I do is I know what I'm eating, because I'm eating the same foods, and I pretty much can just look at a plate and know roughly what calories are in it. And then if you put on a bit, when you go on a lean bulk and you put on a bit of extra body fat, you just dial it back a bit. I might do you just dial it back a bit. I mean, like 2 weeks ago, I did a 4, was it? Oh, it was over 3 days. Yeah, it was nearly 4 days fast. Massively dialed back my calories, 10,000 calories cut, whatever. But once you learn it, you just adjust it. But what you want to do is find your maintenance calories. Use that calculator on my website, or just go and Google it and figure it out. And then when you're moving between, say, a bulk and a cut, you only want to move 300 to 400 calories. Just a small amount. Don't do like a huge dirty bulk, because it's not good for you. Having too many calories is like, for your overall health, one of the, for longevity, low overall calories is basically one of the hallmarks. And then the fourth rule that I would do, right, which is also to do with longevity, I'm generally low carb, right? Like I say, I eat eggs, a lot of meat, fish, a lot of protein, a few veggies, bit of salad, but I'm generally low carb. The only carbs I get are generally in like the salads or the vegetables. So like in the onion, there's not much in onion actually, but in a pepper, there's quite a bit. Carrots is quite a bit if you're eating carrots, but I'm not eating like white carbs. Now I do occasionally, right? So I cook for family, like do a roast chicken dinner or whatever, and I might have the odd roast potato. So if you are going to eat carbs, I would suggest you only eat whole foods carbs like potato, or maybe a bit of rice. But this is where cutting back on things like bread. Yeah, I know people think sourdough bread is better. It certainly tastes very nice, doesn't it, with your breakfast? But you want to be avoiding it. Generally low carb, and the reason for that is because it's about controlling body inflammation. So if you think about all of the big, all the big killer diseases, all the major diseases are all based on body inflammation, all of them. And that is just blood sugar control. So just cut your carbs, and what you'll find if you go strict keto for long enough and you do a blood test, what you'll find is your body inflammation will be super low. Like mine was like not even 1% or something. It was so low out that, whatever the scale was. Somebody's at my door. Oh, I don't know who that is. I'll go and find out a bit. It just comes up, on the doorbell camera thing. But anyway, yeah, so when I did a test, it was so low. But the other problem with going strict keto is you can end up with too much iron in your blood. I had this, and the problem with too much iron is it can mess with, this is getting really technical now, it starts messing with your SHBG, which is a protein, sex hormone binding globulin, right? Anyway, it's a protein that binds up your testosterone basically, so it affects the difference between your total testosterone and your free testosterone. And the free testosterone is the only thing that flipping matters. That's the stuff that you can use. And if your SHBG is too high, it binds it up too much. The sweet spot, this is super technical, your sweet spot for your free testosterone is between 1.5% and 2% of the total testosterone. So that's what you want to look for. And if you're on like a carnivore diet or a keto diet, this is one of the biggest things you got to watch for is that, because your SHBG can go too high. And I saw, what's he called? Famous guy on keto, Paul Saladino, did a couple of videos on that. He had phlebotomy, giving blood to get rid of the iron and things like this. The other problem with going on keto and like carnivore type diets is you got to watch, your cholesterol will be higher, right? But it's not necessarily dangerous, right? Everyone thinks high cholesterol's bad. It's only bad if you're in really bad physical shape. I was in the shop yesterday and I was buying my eggs, and I always eat organic, free range, like, the best eggs. I think that's where you should spend your money. I think you should spend more money on eggs than meat, because eggs happen to be the best nutrition you can eat, really, that's available, I think. They're almost perfect on their own. So I do spend, and I get like, you know, the big boxes. I'll get like 5 or 6 of them big boxes at a time. And the woman in the shop said to me like, she said, "How many eggs do you eat a day?" And I was like, "Well, you know, 10 or 12 at least." You know, she was like, "Is that good for you?" I was like, "Yeah, you know, I think it is." And I saw a video the other day because, like, one thing with eggs, right? There was a lot of scaremongery. There has been over, not today, but couple of decades ago. There was a lot of scaremongery on eggs being bad for you because they're high in cholesterol. And I saw a video on YouTube the other day where a guy had did an experiment where he ate 24 eggs a day for a whole month, and he did a blood test at the start and the end of it. And at the end of it, his cholesterol was lower than at the start, despite because when you eat those eggs, you know, you're not storing that cholesterol it goes in your arteries, doesn't it? You're only doing that if you're pre-diabetic or if you're in really, really bad physical health. But if you're not in, you know, if you're eating a really good solid whole foods and you're training and things like that, you know, it's not a bad thing. And this is one of the issues on keto, or carnivore, your cholesterol will start to spike a little bit, but it won't go dangerous, you know what I mean? And cholesterol's not a bad thing because if you think about it, it's very useful. Where do our hormones come from? Our hormones are made from cholesterol. So I'm not a flipping scientist, by the way. I've just done a lot of reading on this and a lot of, what do you call it, anecdotal evidence. Like, since I've been doing this, I can see the results, you know. You just feel better. So yeah, I do have a playlist on meals that I make, and I have a book on the, you know, with the journal, the Goal Achievement Hub with the journal. When you buy it, there's like digital downloads that come with it, and I'm bringing one out because inside it you've got the life harmony model at the start, you know, when you're setting your goals and stuff. Here it is, that one. And at the top there you've got physical. So I'm doing like a free ebook with each one. And in the physical is my diet plan. So the diet plan that's on my website at andyholt.co.uk, I've typed it up with all the recipes. And I'm going to put the links into the videos and things. I'm going to try and do at least a YouTube video on every single recipe I've got in that diet plan. I've done most of them, and maybe add a few more in. And it's taken me a while because I'm putting a lot of effort into this book. And I'm going to get like professional images of everything done. So I'm going to be bringing that out, and I might, you know, I'll see when I get there. I'm going to do a bit of a giveaway with it. Like, I mean, there's loads of diet plans out there. There's loads of advice. Obviously, there's loads of books. But I think what makes mine unique, my way, is everything is super easy and super quick, and it's stuff you can just get from the shop, and it will transform your life. Like, you know, if you watch like the one, you know, the new breakfast video I did, it takes like 15-20 minutes to do that, and it's like, and I know it is when I used to be there, when you get these people that just can't be arsed cooking, or can't be bothered to learn how to just prepare a quick healthy meal. I'm doing that 3-4 times a day some days, obviously when I don't fast, don't eat, but I'm doing that every flipping day, making little meals like that I know are all good, and I know exactly what's in them. So it's just a bit of education, because whenever I've read these cookbooks, you know, from really famous chefs, they're using fucking ingredients that you have to hunt for, you know what I mean, and really strange things, and it's like shit, I've got to go and get that spice, or I've got to go and get that particular flipping herb or whatever, and they're really elaborate. Yeah, they taste beautiful, but number one, they're not for health and fitness and longevity. They're really for taste. And they're not considering things like flipping body inflammation and stuff like that. You know, they're just chefs. Great. Food is an art. And there's loads of cookbooks out there. I even got one of the ones that I based all my diet on is Thomas DeLauer's book. It's called, I got a weird notification come up then, I don't know what it were. Thomas DeLauer's book, which is the Mediterranean Diet Cookbook. That's worth a look. But even that, when I look at them, they're too creative. You know, they're too, like, they take effort because it's something new, or ingredients are like, you've got to find them in the special old food shop or whatever. You know what I mean? They're too creative. So I've just simplified it down to fucking eggs, meat, fish, you know, vegetable. Like, most of my meals have just got onion, pepper, and flipping mushrooms in them, stuff that you can get in any shop. You know, maybe and then when I do a bigger meal, I'll throw in like broccoli or whatever and cauliflower. But they're not labouring. You know what I mean? They don't require extra thought and preparation to go and get the right ingredients. Just stuff that's available. And the problem with doing that at first, when I first started doing it, it's like, right, okay, I'm using basic ingredients. We're cutting out all the stuff that people crave for, all the carbs and all the shit that we like to eat. You know what I mean? And all the flavours, because we don't want anything processed or even white carb. So that makes it even more bland. And you end up, when you first start doing this, your meals end up super bland because you're not going crazy with it, creative. Because I always say that I eat functionally, right? I eat what I think is good for my body, not what tastes. But what I've managed to do is make every single one of them taste good. Now, in my opinion, they all taste good. So I think I've cracked it. Everything takes 15-20 minutes to make. The stuff that you can buy in a shop anywhere, and it will sort your health out and keep your flipping body composition right. Because that's one of the main ones, is maintaining body composition to a reasonable level. Even if you're going to be super relaxed, like I am at the minute, even if you're going to be super relaxed, you're never putting on a huge amount of body fat. You're only like 2 weeks to a month away of looking great, right? That's a good thing. So if you just eat this way and learn how to cook these little meals that I put on my channel, they're just dead quick, super easy. Like, one of the best inventions we've had over the last 10 years is an air fryer. You can cook any meat in an air fryer, right? And I did it on the little short yesterday. All you do is just get some good quality olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic and paprika, and just mix it up like a paste, and then just flop your meat in, right? You can do a full chicken like that in the air fryer. Literally a full chicken, if your air fryer is big enough, just by making that paste and just smothering it and chucking it in and turn it round. When you do the chicken, you do it upside down first, so all the you want all the moisture to go to the breast, and then you turn it over to finish. But you can do anything like, I did that diced beef that way yesterday. It takes no time. So that's a really good technique. And yeah, just, you know, eat loads of eggs. They're the best source of nutrition. And then I've come up with this like little veg mix that you do. So I just use onion and pepper. I most eat 2-3 onions a day, right? Pepper. Sometimes you can use spring onions, just snip them in. And then I eat a lot of mushrooms as well. And that's it. You just eat this stuff on rotate, you know, flipping meat and veg, meat and salad, meat on rotation like that. Eggs, you know, fish. Just keep rotating it, and that's all you need to do, and you'll keep a reasonable body composition, right, all year round. You know what I mean? You'll hover between like 15, 16, 17, 18% body fat, and you'll still look good in a t-shirt, and if you need to for the summer, it takes you 2 weeks to tighten up. That's all you do. As if you're tracking your overall calories, that is, and you get used to it. So yeah, the other thing is when you start eating right, how easy is your training? Like, you don't have to work that hard. And it's great, you know, if you're flipping 18 and you've got crazy high, what do we call it, metabolism. If you're 18, you've got crazy high metabolism, you can pretty much just eat McDonald's and all that stuff. But as you get on, this is where it really matters, right? Because no amount of training in the gym, you can't out-train a poor diet. And this is why, if you just dial it in like that with them little meals, everything becomes easier. You end up not having to train that much. All right, thanks for listening. Go and check it out. Go to my website, andyholt.co.uk. Go to resources, diet plans and recipes. Also, there's a load of links down in the description on my channel. And check out the new breakfast video, which I've just done. I can't remember the name of it, you know, the new best breakfast or whatever. That's what I'm talking about with the eggs and the protein, 3 different ways. There's a shot from yesterday, which is an alternate on the steak one. I've got if you go on my channel, I've got the keto eggs and salmon. I've got what I call gourmet beef, which is just shredded beef with onions, peppers, and all that kind of thing. Mushroom. That's a good one, because that one is like, you know, the one meal you can just eat 3 times a day. You can literally just live off that one, and you'll be solid. That's a good one. And then I've done other ones. I think I did a big long form on implementing the whole foods diet and stuff like that. But yeah, go and check them out. All right. Thank you very much. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe. See you all next time.